Hi, this is the show that answers the questions that expats, nomads, and full-time travelers living across the globe ask themselves every day. These insights and secrets are shared when we interview experts and authors from across the globe. Hi, Nomadic Diary listeners. Thank you for being here today. I would like to welcome my very special guest, Marie Hernandez. Hi, Marie.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful to be here. I'm very good. Thank you. I'm very good. And you are in Florida, correct?
I am currently in Florida, yes.
Marie has a very specialized niche, which is absolutely fascinating. And I'm sure many of you, the listeners, will be delighted to hear that this is even a possibility. Because possibly this idea and concept has never crossed your mind up until today. So we are excited to ask Marie about this fabulous niche that she has, where she, my version of it is that what you do is you marry together would-be nomads or expats with brands who are looking to expand and share their message. Is that correct?
That's 90% there. Absolutely. Very good.
Okay, so tell us more.
Sure, no problem. So I have been nomadic, I'd say, traveling the world. I've traveled the world all my life. My father was in the military, so my first plane ride was when I was 2, and I just was hooked from there. But I've been doing this as a business. I'm going to be, next month is 14 years. And I started it over in Southeast Asia when I was transferred there with my then husband's business. And essentially what I do is sponsored travel. Now, this isn't an unheard niche. And most people immediately say, oh, sponsored travel, that's where you're an influencer and you get to stay at a hotel or you get to eat at a restaurant and that's true, but that's not what I do. So
tell us what you do.
Yeah. So what I do is I actually teach. So what I do is come in from the digital entrepreneur, digital nomadic business perspective. So my following, the people that follow me, my ideal client, my ideal follower, the people who know, like, and trust me, what I do is I'll market for a place most of the time it's hotels and villas and beautiful chalets and things like this. It could be anything. I mean, I've been sponsored by Virgin Airlines with their hot air balloons, and I've been sponsored by Lamborghini to drive a Lamborghini around for a week. That was just so tough. And so everything in between, restaurants and excursions and yachts and you name it. What I love to do, though, and what I teach is how to connect from a business perspective with potential sponsors in a way that you can market for them. And then you get access to their audience as well, which then brings in more business opportunities for you. And then they get access to your audience, which brings them more people to book into their travel or tourism, their villa or their restaurant.
Yes, whatever they're offering is.
Whatever they're offering, right. So the difference with that is that we do it from a business perspective. So through sales and marketing, we actually then, what we do is we approach, I don't have to approach any longer. I'm blessed to have built a business where I get approached mostly all the time for people wanting to sponsor me. So you go out to, and I always say a hotel, because when we go visit someplace, the hotel is usually the most expensive because I don't like to camp. I like to stay in luxury, but I have been camping. Yeah, but I like to stay in luxury. So for me, it's the luxury end. And so what we want to do is they call me and they say, hey, we'd love for you to come out and experience our facility and our services and everything about our hotel. And then in exchange, you market for us on social media. The reason it works and they know is because I'm marketing for them in a way that's going to draw interest through my know, like, and trust factor with my own audience.
Sure.
So I love to use analogies. And so say your bestie or your partner says, I just had the most amazing meal at this restaurant. You don't have to go research it. You trust them. So you're going to go. It's the same kind of thing. You build that trust with your own audience through your own business. So my business is all about seamlessly integrating sales, marketing, and travel in a way that you can travel the world. And you can work from anywhere in the world, live for anywhere in the world while you're running a very successful business. Most people think you grab a laptop and you can go do it. Not so. So my partner Jane and I teach how to do that. Sponsored travel is a piece of that because it is a marketing strategy.
Sure.
That naturally brings in interest because people say, well, I want to go to Greece and I want to spend a week in Greece and I'd love to be sponsored by this beautiful villa there. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be marketing for them before, during, and after your stay in a way that's going to bring attention to them and more of your own interest to what you're teaching, what you're selling yourself, because who doesn't want that kind of lifestyle? So it's the attraction to what you're doing, the way you're marketing, the way you're selling, and then your sponsor. So it's people think that you have to have one or the other, or I need to learn sponsored travel after my business is up and running. Yeah. That's not the case. It's simultaneous.
You can build them simultaneously. I get
Absolutely. It. And you really want to. So
yes. Yeah. So the question, because sometimes I think that I hope I still think like a listener, but what if someone has the question in their mind? So what is the difference? What is the subtle difference between that and being an influencer? Because we are all at the mercy of.
No, I know exactly what you're going to say. And you're right.
Tell us.
The difference between that is we are focused on developing a relationship that lasts more than a one-off. So an influencer now is all about the young people. And I'm not knocking anyone. It's just that there's no substance to it.
Sure.
So you'll see a beautiful girl laying in a beautiful bed in a beautiful location. And she's getting the thousands and thousands of likes and thumbs up and hearts and all the attention because she's beautiful and she's laying in this beautiful destination in this beautiful landscape. Sure. But does anybody know where she is? Does anybody know the business that she's taking those pictures for?
Or who is watching? Or who's paying attention?
Right.
So and how long are they paying attention for?
Exactly. So here's the difference. So when you have a lot of followers, so my teaching and the way that I build my business and run my business and what I teach my clients, you don't have to have a lot of followers. Yeah. So sponsors would much rather you have 500 followers and 20 of them are going to come than 5 million followers and nobody shows up because they don't.
Yes, exactly.
To be
quality. It's quality, not quantity.
Exactly.
That's what I say about my podcast listeners, that they are quality people.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly how it is. So so the idea is that for an influencer, the more people that they have, like let's say you have an Instagram account that has 2 million people, it's a numbers game. So
it is.
Maybe 1 or 2 or 10 people might actually show interest out of the 2 million.
Yes.
Where if you have a relationship with your audience and you have a relationship with the sponsor and their audience, it's much more likely. And how do I know this works? Because I've been doing it for so long and then I have the metrics to prove that. So when I go, my heart home is Tuscany. I love it. I healed there from a very bad time in my life. And I have just my own developed family there. And I go there several times a year and I run retreats there. And, I'm connected with the industry there. So whenever I'm there, I'll get constant messages. Marie, we're going to be in that area. Who do we need to connect with?
Yes,
so I immediately connect outside of myself. I connect that vendor with people that they know that a sponsorship that they had me on 5 years ago is still working for you.
Yes.
That's how you prove that, because you can set up those metrics and you can, make sure that you're. So you could also go on to monetize. I have passive income with affiliates through them as well, because I send so many people their way. So it's really about that rich relationship that you build with each destination. So, yeah.
Well, this is a great explanation for the concept of using engaged audiences to attract sponsorship from luxury brands. Are they
Yes.
always luxury brands? Or
They don't have to be.
Thank you.
No, they don't have to be. I was last year in Puerto Rico. I was asked for a glamping site in Puerto Rico. And at first I was going to say no, because it really doesn't resonate with my audience in terms of luxury. But it was a beautiful setting. And it was actually very beautiful and luxurious. It was gorgeous. So
Yes.
I said yes. I'm so glad that I did. I have been in the early days. I was sponsored by products as well, like hiking gear and things like that. So as you evolve and whatever your niche is, that's where you pick and choose who you want to be sponsored by. So it doesn't have to only be luxurious. It can be pretty much anyone.
So some of our nomads who are currently listening to this today, they are probably thinking, because this is a little bit like the house sitting, which many of us have done.
I have to.
And pet sitting, right, around the world.
Yep.
And we do it by relationship, and we do it by referral.
Exactly.
And we do it by one-to-one connections.
Exactly.
And so it's very parallel to that. So I'm hoping, audience, that your ears are being pricking up to this today. So how do you advise people about where to start?
Yeah. So where to start would simply be, you have to have a solid foundation on social media. You have to make sure that
that mean?
That means that you're consistently posting, that you're consistently posting about travel. So here's the thing. If you're a travel lover and you're a digital entrepreneur and a digital nomad, you already post about the things that you're doing, the places that you're going, and the people that you're seeing.
Always.
Yeah. So think of your social media as a CV or a resume.
Yeah.
You want to constantly be posting about social media, on social media, about your travels, about what you're doing.
Right.
In this case, you're going to, where is your next trip? So where are you going next? So I happen to be going, Jane and I are going, my business partner and I are going to Curacao for a month on sponsorship, because we're also consultants for different hotels and for different property managers. So we're going there on sponsorship. And how did we decide Curacao? Well, because we wanted to, one. So as digital entrepreneurs, because we have home bases, we're allowed to do that. Think about where you want to go next, and then start thinking about how anything in your life that's worth it starts. So if you want to date somebody, how does that start? It starts with some sort of communication, a smile, a handshake, some kind of communication. Think of a potential sponsor that way. Reach out, go to their Facebook page. This all should be done on social media. Go to their Facebook page, like it, go through, comment on things that resonate with you. Everything should be authentic. Add a little value, tell them that looks like a fantastic place to be. Start generating a conversation. Reach out through Messenger. A lot of times the places that I deal with are boutique places. So they're usually owned by a couple of people or a family. I love that. Have I been sponsored by the big guys, the Movenpicks and all that? Yes. But I tend to love the boutique because you're going to deal with the owner. You're going to deal with the family. And that is such a rich relationship. Yeah. And I feel like they don't necessarily have the big PR dollars. So you're going to replace that for them. Right. And it's a way for me to give back. I just love it. I love being able to do that. So you start that conversation. You tell them you're going to be in the area. You'd love to come and visit. You start a conversation. You start developing a relationship. 9 times out of 10, when you're authentic and you're just not saying, hey, give me some free stuff, because that's not something I promote at all. But when you're really being authentic about it, they actually ask you to stop by. And then because you're developing a little bit of a relationship, and one thing they do every single time, and you might not know it, is they go to your social media. They look to see it. Yes. Yeah. And if you're a shoe salesman and you're only talking about shoes, and then you want to develop a relationship to ask for a sponsor in a hotel, Is it impossible? No, but it's probably not probable. Like they need to know that you have an audience that follows you because you love to travel. You can be, some of my clients are authors, some of them are photographers, some are retreat leaders, some are health and yoga teachers.
Yeah.
However, their love for travel has them traveling. So the niche, your specific niche, blogger, whatever, doesn't matter. What matters is that you travel, that you're known for loving to travel.
Now, with that, I have a question that I know some of my listeners may ask. I live in the city that is, out of the last 4 years, it's been number one, San Miguel de Allende, to visit in the world since 2019. Mm-hmm. So I could just go to my friends who own some of the top Airbnbs or little tiny boutique hotels, right? Mm-hmm. So anyone listening to this can consider this as a place to start.
100%. Start in your own backyard. Ask people, say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Do you think I could stay 1 or 2 nights and just really take some beautiful pictures and do some live videos, do a story, do a reel to try to get you some attention? I would love to do that. This is a fantastic way to build that kind of resume. Because what you're going to do when you do get to the point where you're going to pitch to a bigger place or to a place that's really on your bucket list, you're going to hyperlink to what you've done for the person locally. And they're going to see, oh, yes, she or he actually knows what they're doing, has done this in the past, and maybe I'm going to pay attention to this. So yes, absolutely great idea to go locally.
When you select the brands, how do you get started if you don't have, you have to build, it's sort of the cart before the horse or the horse before the cart. So you have to have a really good functioning social media before you approach them.
Right. Yes, you do. You have to have a solid foundation. Now, they're not going to look back in years and years and years. They'll likely... They'll likely go back a few months to make sure, like, they're not going to stalk you, but they're going to go back to see what you're doing. That's why I always say it's never too early to start. Like I would start today. And what would that look like? This is where I'm dreaming of going. I want to go to Curacao. And you tag Curacao, you tag them, you tag Curacao, travel to Curacao, whatever the tourism board is. You tag them in that post that you're making. What you're doing is giving attention to them. They're notified somebody's giving attention. They may not say anything to you, but here's the beauty. Here's the tech part that works beautifully. Facebook will say, she's tagged somebody on Facebook. So anybody who happens to be part of that tag or on that list will then see you, and vice versa. So that's how you start building it. And then the more you visit that area, it could be their tourism board, it could be other tour guides that are there, it could be other people that are there, but that the name of the country or the name of the city or town, the algorithm starts working for you, and it starts showing you to those people and you to them to you. And so it starts opening up to more people that like that area or that destination.
And your opportunity to widen.
Exactly. And so that helps you with exposure. And then that's on your timeline, and they'll be able to see that. So posting frequently, consistently, and very purposefully. So what that means is, make sure it's authentic. Don't post just to post. And that's an energy thing, right? We feel when something's authentic, there's an energy that comes from that. So that's why I say, make sure you're doing it from your heart. It's a passion. Don't say, well, I want to go to the Yucatan if really you don't want to. It's like, make sure that you're really talking coming from space. And then start researching it through Facebook. The algorithm's going to start helping you, and start talking to people, and that's a way you develop a relationship with an audience you don't know, and also potential sponsors as well. Here's the beautiful thing about this, Doreen. Regardless of what your niche is, that audience that you might not have known, who doesn't know you, and now you're starting to build it, they also are looking at your expertise in the programs you're running and the classes that you're giving. And what you're an expert in. So that's a whole new audience for your own business. So that's why I say that it's seamless. Sales, marketing, and sponsored travel is actually a seamless strategy to build your business and your digital life very quickly.
Interesting. I'm sure many people are listening to this with fascinated by it because it just seems so simple in a way. Of course, it takes energy. It's going to
Mhm.
take attention. It's going to take time, and
Right.
it's going to take a real focus on keeping your social media very, very purposeful, very clean, very good looking. So that's all very important. So managing all of this, like the partnership and the relationships you're going to build really requires time and energy, right?
It
How do you,
does.
how do you help people navigate the business side of this collaboration? Like
Sure.
how do you teach people how to generate not just the relationship, but eventually the collaborations and the monetization that
Mhm.
you're eventually looking for?
Right. So, very good question. So, first and foremost, understanding that streamlining your sales and marketing is where you need to start, and having that basis and foundation in place so that you can reach out to sponsors and make offers, and those things are coming seamlessly. Because of course we know, as business owners, there are a lot of things that happen in the background. There are sales funnels, and there are, there are so many other things. So it becomes very overwhelming.
So do
So
you have to have a sales funnel?
yes, you have to have a sales, not for marketing, not for sponsored travel, but you
Right.
do have to have it for the rest of it. And then
Yes.
sponsored travel fits in perfectly. You absolutely have to have this seamless marketing and sales situation, the strategies down first before I recommend, and your social media before you even reach out to a sponsor.
Sure.
What's supposed to happen is, once you have this streamlined, and it is possible. Simplicity is my middle name. If it's complicated, please don't bring it to me. Like, life is complicated enough. I need it. Like, here it is. This is what we do. And this is, so we have, I have 3 offers. My business and I have 3 offers. That's it. It's all streamlined. Some of it is evergreen. Some of it is live, but we have it streamlined. The sponsorship comes very easily, because to them, it's like they have everything in place. All right, we want them to come and visit.
Yeah.
And then then I teach how to put that strategy together, and like what you need physically, like spreadsheets and things like this.
Sure.
And the pitch,
Sure.
stuff like that. But it's having the other pieces in place so that the sponsorship, by the time you get it, is very easy, and it's easy to do, easy to get, and easy to implement.
And so are there any mistakes or pitfalls you see people repetitively making while they do this?
Yeah, well, it's not really mistakes, because I don't believe in mistakes. I believe in lessons for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
And life is messy. We were just talking about this before we started, that life can be messy.
Absolutely.
And it's perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing, mess, because out of mess comes order.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And lessons, you learn lessons on what you want to do, or what worked, or what didn't work. The biggest thing that I see people in my world doing is giving up too soon. So, it's a matter, I have a 91-day rule. So I will implement. I'm a massive implementer. I get most digital entrepreneurs are beautifully creative. And so we create these things. And in my world, people always laugh because they know me for this slogan is, I put the people on the plane before the plane is built.
Yeah.
So I can do that.
Yeah.
Which
or
then
flying the plane as you build the plane as you're flying it. Yeah,
exactly. So but the thing is that we kind of tend to give up, like, oh, it didn't work. So maybe this isn't for me, or maybe I'm not doing the right thing. To shift and pivot and change your strategy along the way is really helpful. But you have to have consistency and continue to do it. Day 91, if there's zero movement, and I mean, a win could simply be that someone reached out to you and said, I love what you're doing. That means that you're connecting on some way. Anything is a win. But if you have nothing but crickets on day 91, no matter what you're doing, which is very unlikely, then maybe you reassess and shift to something else, because it's likely that either that's not your passion, or you don't have enough information, or your funnels aren't right. But that's something that you visit. Another thing that I see people doing is trying to do it all on their own. I mean, no matter how much I learn, I still have a coach that's higher than me. Always.
Sure.
I'm always navigating. So
Sure.
this is the thing for me. I like doing things quickly as possible, as right and as quickly as possible. If I have to learn it all and do it all myself, it's going to be slow. Yeah. Why not learn from somebody who's had the skin knees, who's made the mistakes, and who's succeeded anyway, so I can shorten that distance.
Super shortcuts. Yes,
exactly. So for me, it's people that are experts in what I'm looking for. And so investing in yourself and investing in your business is key to absolutely winning. And that's something that I see happened all the time. Like, lots of people will download the freebies, but they don't want to go any further because they think, it's not worth it. And then they're in the same spot the next year and then like wondering why. So that's probably the biggest thing for me, is those two things.
Wow. So don't give up and invest in your business.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be $50,000. It could be,
great advice
to move you forward. Right. Exactly.
Yes. Well, great advice, because so many of our listeners I know are actually traveling or are part of the FIRE movement, the financially independent, and have retired early, but now are looking for a way to generate income and work with brands. So this is really great training. So tell us about future trends in this industry. Where is this going?
Well, one of the biggest trends you just said. So lots and lots of people are selling everything and kind of hitting the road. Yeah. One of my clients is she's a car camper. She's 61. Mm-hmm. She sold everything, and she finished her corporate job. She sold everything, and she didn't want to buy a house, and she just wanted to drive through the US and Canada. She took her first solo trip last month. It was actually in December. November. It lasted 3 months. She did beautifully. She got sponsorships along the way, actually.
Excellent.
So because of her social media. So I think that's the trend. People are starting to realize this is a big, beautiful world, and to sit at home and worry about the grass being mowed and the roof being finished and this and this and this when you're, I'm 50, I'm going to be 59 this year. So it's like I have to say it's 7 years ago now, I sold everything. So I'm nomadic. I have a home base because I have children and grandchildren. So I have a home base in Florida, but then I have another one in Tuscany. And I absolutely love that kind of life. And that seems to be the trend. People are realizing that. And I think the pandemic did that, where they realized, you know what? There's more to it than just sitting behind a desk and waiting for things to happen. So exactly. I know
because they don't. They don't. That's what I call the zombie zone. I often feel like when I go back to the US or the UK or, that I just no longer can fit into a zombie zone. And it's not that not everyone who is planted and rooted is in that zone, but it's very easy to stay in your comfort zone. And if you're in your comfort zone and everything is easy and comfortable, then how much are we growing? And I think that it's life has to be a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. Thank goodness for luxury brands.
Yes.
To take the edge off of that.
I so agree. I really do.
Yeah. And so as we start to wrap up, do you have final words of advice or inspiration for people who are adventurous, but they don't know what steps to take? What is they're adventurous in their minds. Their imaginations are caught fire, but they haven't actually moved into the activity of this.
Right. I would say to start small, start in your own backyard, start small. I'm very cheeky that way. So when I'm in a new area, I'll walk around downtown somewhere. And if I see a restaurant that I think is fantastic, I'll go in and chat up the manager and get a free glass of wine and take some pictures and do a video. And then they see who I am and ask me back for a meal. So it's little things like that. step outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Definitely. If it's a little uncomfortable, that's okay, because that's going to teach you something.
Yeah.
Here, for me, regret is getting to the end of my days and saying, I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have gone there. I wish I would have spent that money. Like, definitely. And tomorrow's not promised, is it? So
no.
Yeah, don't be afraid to just do what you love and stop worrying about what other people think.
Yes.
Your life, not theirs. Yeah.
Yes. Interestingly, earlier this afternoon, I was listening to a podcast by Dr. Gervais on the subject of flow. And how that is the number one thing that gets in our way is worrying about what other people think.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. I agree. Yeah. Because of course I even have family members that say to me, you're crazy. Oh, don't you want to settle down? And why are you doing this? And aren't you afraid? No, I'm afraid of the mundane. I'm afraid of not getting to every country in the world. I'm on number 54. So 55 will be next month. And I want to keep going until I've seen them all, and then I'll circle it again. So
right. Yeah. There you go. That's the best energy. So is there anything you would like to add? We would really love to know where we can connect with you and contact you. And of course, we will put all of the links in the show notes.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. So the best way to contact me is through Facebook Messenger, just on Facebook. I'm very, very active on Facebook, and I love the voice messaging back and forth. I'm one of those rare people that will answer all the time unless I'm sleeping or traveling. I love connecting with people. I think that's what our divine gift is, to be here and to connect each other and to help each other along the journey. So it's not about the journey. It's not about the destination. It's about the company that we keep. And that's what makes everything wonderful. So please reach out that way. You can reach out to me, marie@wanderthe7.com, which is my email address. And you'll have the rest of the ways to find out more about Sponsor Travel, or about my business partner and I have a program called Ultimate Business Freedom. And it teaches you soup to nuts how to have a fabulous travel life and run a very successful business online. So yeah, we're happy to take calls, happy to get in touch with people. Love it. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, that's terrific. So I would just like, in closing, to say that it's been a pleasure to interview you. And I guess by the end of the year, you're going to have covered a lot of places and have worked with many brands. And I'm sure the listeners would love to follow you and understand better how to do what it is you do with such obvious grace and ease. And we're all about ease and grace in our travel destination.
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much for this. This has been a privilege, Marie. And for our listeners, please go to the show notes where you will find all the connections to Marie. And please like and follow and subscribe and share and just participate. Come and play with us. We're so glad that you joined us at our kitchen table today for this conversation. And we say for today in this place, from the US, goodbye, and from Mexico, hasta luego.